The story of the Mongol invasions is one of unparalleled conquest and profound impact. Emerging from the steppes of Central Asia in the 13th century, the Mongols, under the leadership of Genghis Khan and his successors, created the largest contiguous empire in history. Their invasions reshaped the political, economic, and cultural landscapes of Eurasia. For the next 15 minutes, let us delve into the detailed history of how this nomadic people transformed the world. The origins of the Mongol Empire lie in the harsh, unforgiving terrain of the Mongolian steppe, where survival required resilience, adaptability, and unity. Born as Temujin around 1162, the man who would become Genghis Khan grew up amidst tribal warfare, betrayal, and hardship. His father was poisoned by rivals when Temujin was a child, leaving him to fend for himself and his family. These experiences forged his character, teaching him the importance of loyalty, strategic alliances, and ruthlessness when necessary. By 1206, after years of struggle and warfare, Temujin had unified the Mongol tribes under his leadership. At a grand council or Kurultai, he was proclaimed Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler. This marked the beginning of an empire built not only on conquest, but also on a vision of unity and organization. The Mongols first turned their attention to the neighboring regions of China. The Jin dynasty in the north, which had long dominated the Mongolian steppe, became Genghis Khan's primary target. In 1211, the Mongols began their campaign against the Jin, utilizing their unparalleled mobility and mastery of siege warfare. The Mongol armies were unlike any other. Comprised primarily of horse archers, they could travel vast distances quickly, striking with precision and retreating before enemies could react. Their adaptability was evident in their use of captured engineers to develop siege weapons, allowing them to breach fortified cities. By 1215, they had captured Zhongdu, modern-day Beijing, marking a decisive victory against the Jin. Meanwhile, the Mongols also expanded westward. In 1218, Genghis Khan turned his attention to the Khwarezmian Empire, a prosperous Muslim state in Central Asia. The campaign began diplomatically, with Genghis Khan sending emissaries to establish trade relations. However, when the Khwarezmian ruler executed the Mongol envoys, Genghis Khan unleashed his fury. The Mongols systematically destroyed the cities of the Khwarezmian Empire, including Samarkand and Bukhara. They employed psychological warfare, spreading fear and chaos among their enemies. Stories of entire cities being massacred or surrendering without a fight became common. By 1221, the Khwarezmian Empire was in ruins. Genghis Khan died in 1227 during a campaign against the Western Xia in China. Before his death, he had laid the foundation for a vast empire and a clear system of succession. His third son, Ogadai, became the Great Khan, continuing the expansion. Under Ogadai's leadership, the Mongols invaded Eastern Europe, Persia, and the remaining parts of China. In the 1320s, they launched campaigns against the Kievan Rus' in Poland. The Battle of Kalka River in 1223 and later campaigns devastated the region. Cities like Kiev were razed to the ground, and entire populations were decimated. In the east, the Mongols continued their conquest of the Jin dynasty, culminating in its complete destruction in 1234. Ogadai also began the invasion of the Song dynasty in southern China, though this would take decades to complete. After Ogadai's death in 1241, the empire briefly paused its expansion as the Mongol leaders convened to elect a new Great Khan. This period of succession disputes would become a recurring issue for the Mongols. The Mongol Empire eventually fractured into several khanates, each ruled by a descendant of Genghis Khan. Two of the most significant were the Golden Horde in Russia and the Ilkhanate in Persia. The Golden Horde, under the leadership of Batu Khan, extended Mongol rule over the Kievan Rus and established dominance over much of Eastern Europe. They imposed a tributary system, allowing local rulers to retain their positions as long as they paid tribute to the Mongols. The Ilkhanate, founded by Hulagu Khan, focused on Persia and the Middle East. In 1258, Hulagu led the Mongols to capture Baghdad, the heart of the Islamic world, and the Abbasid Caliphate. The city was sacked and its libraries and cultural treasures were destroyed. This marked the end of the Islamic Golden Age. The Mongol invasions had far-reaching consequences. On the one hand, they brought destruction and loss of life on an unprecedented scale. Entire cities were depopulated, and cultural landmarks were obliterated. However, the Mongols also facilitated trade and cultural exchange across Eurasia. The Pax Mongolica, or Mongol peace, ensured the safety of trade routes such as the Silk Road. Ideas, technologies, and goods flowed freely between East and West. The spread of papermaking, gunpowder, and even the Black Death were indirect consequences of Mongol expansion. The Mongols also implemented administrative reforms. They valued merit over birthright, often promoting individuals based on their abilities rather than their lineage. Religious tolerance was another hallmark of Mongol rule, as long as it did not threaten their authority. By the late 14th century, the Mongol Empire had fragmented into independent khanates, each pursuing its own interests. The rise of powerful states such as the Ming dynasty in China and the resurgence of Islamic powers in Persia marked the end of Mongol dominance. However, the legacy of the Mongol invasions endured. The connections they forged across continents laid the groundwork for future global interactions. The Mongols left an indelible mark on history as both destroyers and unifiers. The Mongol invasions were a turning point in world history. They demonstrated the power of a unified, disciplined military force and reshaped the political and cultural landscape of Eurasia. From the steppes of Mongolia to the walls of Baghdad, the Mongols etched their name into the annals of history, a legacy of ambition, conquest, and transformation. Though the Mongol Empire has long since faded, its echoes remain, reminding us of a time when the world was bound together by the will of a single people.